Hey everyone, and welcome back to MetaCast. You know the deal, the podcast that takes your sources and, well, turns them into knowledge. I'm John.
I'm Maya, and I'm here to help connect the dots.
So today we are diving deep into the world of PlayStation productions.
Sounds exciting.
It is. It is. All those exciting projects they're bringing to both the big and small screens.
Lots to unpack then.
We'll be looking at articles from Level UP. We're going to be unpacking everything from blockbuster films to anime series. So,
Oh, wow.
are you ready to see some of your favorite PlayStation characters come to life?
I am, yeah.
Buckle up. We're about to embark on an epic journey.
It certainly seems like PlayStation is taking a multi-pronged approach, aiming to expand their reach beyond just gaming.
Exactly.
Right.
And the first stop on this adventure takes us to Hollywood, where Horizon Zero Dawn is getting the big screen treatment.
What's really interesting here is the partnership between Sony Pictures and Columbia Pictures for this project.
Columbia Pictures, the studio behind Jumanji, that's a pretty big deal.
It is. It is a really big deal. And it signals Sony's ambition for this adaptation. I mean, think about the visual effects in Jumanji. They seamlessly blended those CGI creatures with live action, which is exactly what they'll need to pull off with Horizon's robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, the Thunderjaws.
Yeah. It's not just about bringing a game to the screen. It's about creating a visually stunning cinematic experience.
Okay, you've officially got my attention, but hold on. Didn't we hear rumors about a Horizon series on Netflix a while back?
Yes, there were reports of a Netflix series in development, but it seems to have stalled. So this movie could be Sony's way of giving fans what they want, but with even more spectacle and cinematic flair.
Makes sense. And speaking of action-packed adventures, we also have Helldivers coming down the pipeline, right?
Yes, Helldivers is being developed directly by Sony Pictures.
Oh, interesting.
And given the game's over-the-top action and dark humor, I'm really curious to see what direction they take with it. Will they go for live action, capturing that gritty, intense feel? Or will they lean into animation to fully embrace the absurdity?
Either way, I'm picturing a lot of explosions and maybe a few laughs along the way. But Horizon and Helldivers are just the tip of the iceberg, right? There are tons of other PlayStation franchises getting the adaptation treatment.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is great.
We've got Days Gone, a post-apocalyptic biker adventure,
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
and Ghost of Tsushima, which could be visually stunning with its samurai action and those beautiful landscapes.
Yeah.
And then there's Gravity Rush, a game known for its unique, gravity-defying gameplay and vibrant art style.
So many possibilities. But there's one adaptation in particular that has me scratching my head. Until Dawn? I mean, the game was all about player choices and branching narratives. How do you even adapt that into a movie?
That's a great question. The original Until Dawn leaned heavily on the butterfly effect, where every decision had consequences that rippled through the story. Adapting that interactive experience into a linear film format is a challenge.
So are they scrapping the whole choice-driven element then?
Well, the reports suggest they're going for a fresh story and new characters altogether.
Wow, that's a bold move. It'll be fascinating to see how they capture the essence of Until Dawn, that sense of dread, the weight of every decision without relying on the original plot. And who knows, maybe they'll find clever ways to weave in elements of choice and consequence, even within a more traditional narrative structure.
Perhaps they'll utilize flashbacks or multiple perspectives to hint at different paths not taken. There are definitely creative ways to play with those themes.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, we've also got a sequel to the Uncharted movie in the works, continuing the adventures of Nathan Drake.
Right, and that seems to be just the beginning. It's clear that PlayStation Productions is committed to bringing these stories to a wider audience through film, but their ambitions don't stop there. They're making big moves in the world of television as well.
That's right, they're taking on the small screen too. And speaking of diving head first, we have to talk about The Last of Us Season 2, which is set to premiere in April.
Yeah, Season 1 was it was a phenomenal success, both critically and commercially. They really managed to capture the heart of the game, its gritty atmosphere and that emotional bond between Joel and Ellie. It was a masterclass in adapting a video game for television.
I was hooked from the very first episode.
Yeah, me too.
And now we get to see how they tackle the events of The Last of Us Part 2, which I have to say is a much darker and more complex story.
It certainly is. The game explored themes of revenge, trauma, and the cycle of violence. It's going to be fascinating to see how those elements translate to the screen and how audiences who loved the first season react to this new chapter.
Yeah, because it is a lot darker.
Yeah.
Part 2 also introduced some incredibly strong new characters,
Yeah.
most notably Abby. I'm really curious to see who they cast for that role. She's a complex character, both physically and emotionally. They're going to need an actress who can convey both her strength and vulnerability.
Casting is going to be crucial for Season 2, especially considering the source material. It's important to note that Season 2 won't cover the entirety of Part 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the game is massive, so it makes sense that they'd want to spread it out over multiple seasons, which means we'll likely see even more new characters introduced down the line.
More seasons of The Last of Us. I'm not complaining. It's exciting to see them commit to this story and give it the space it needs to breathe. But The Last of Us isn't their only venture into television. They've also got Ghost of Tsushima, Legends in development as an anime series for Crunchyroll.
That's right, though we have a bit of a wait for that one. It's not expected to premiere until 2027,
Oh, wait.
which shows a long-term commitment to this project and a belief in its potential.
2027 feels like a lifetime away. But hey, good things come to those who wait.
Patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to quality adaptations. And speaking of quality, the team behind Ghosts of Tsushima, Legends, is impressive. They've got Sucker Punch, the studio behind the game, collaborating with Aniplex, a renowned anime production company.
So we're talking about a genuine collaboration here, not just a licensing deal.
Exactly. It seems like PlayStation Productions is really invested in ensuring these adaptations are done right. They're partnering with studios and creators who understand the source material and have a passion for bringing these stories to life in new ways.
And focusing on Ghost of Tsushima, Legends, the multiplayer mode for the anime adaptation, is an interesting choice. It suggests they're looking to explore different facets of these franchises, not just rehashing the same stories.
It's a smart move. It allows them to expand the world of Ghost of Tsushima, introduce new characters and storylines while still staying true to the spirit of the game. Plus, the multiplayer mode already has that sense of camaraderie and epic battles that translate well to anime.
I can practically hear the clashing katanas and see those epic samurai showdowns already. But before we get too carried away with visions of feudal Japan, there's one more TV adaptation we need to talk about. And it's a big one, God of War.
Ah, yes, the legendary Ghost of Sparta himself, Kratos. This is perhaps the most ambitious project on their slate, bringing a complex character and a rich mythology to the small screen.
It's definitely the one that has me the most intrigued. And maybe a little bit nervous. God of War is such a beloved franchise, and the 2018 game really raised the bar in terms of storytelling and emotional depth. Can they capture that same magic in a TV series?
It's a valid concern. But let's not forget that Amazon Prime Video is behind this adaptation. They've proven their ability to handle fantasy epics, with shows like The Wheel of Time and The Lord of the Rings of Power. They have the resources and the experience to do this right.
That's reassuring to hear. Plus, they've assembled a talented team of writers and producers who are passionate about the God of War franchise.
They understand the weight of this adaptation, and they're approaching it with respect for the source material.
So what can we expect from a God of War TV series? Will it follow the events of the games closely, or will they forge a new path?
It's still early days, but there are rumors that the series will focus on Kratos' journey through Norse mythology, exploring his past, his relationship with his son, Atreus, and his struggles with rage and redemption.
That sounds incredibly promising. Imagine those epic battles against Norse gods and mythical creatures brought to life on the screen. And with Kratos' internal struggles and his attempts at being a better father, adding a whole other layer of depth.
It has the potential to be a truly captivating series, blending action, spectacle, and emotional storytelling, much like the games themselves.
It's exciting to think about all the possibilities. And with PlayStation Productions demonstrating such a strong commitment to quality adaptations, I'm confident that God of War will be in good hands.
It seems like they've found a winning formula, choosing the right stories, the right platforms, and the right creative teams to bring these projects to life.
And with so many exciting adaptations on the horizon, it begs the question, what does this mean for the future of video game adaptations as a whole? Could this be the start of a new golden age?
It certainly feels that way. The success of shows like The Last of Us has proven that video game adaptations can be both critically acclaimed and commercially viable. And with PlayStation Productions leading the charge, I think we're going to see more and more studios taking these projects seriously.
And that's a win for everyone involved. Gamers get to see their favorite stories reimagined in new and exciting ways, and newcomers get to experience these incredible worlds for the first time.
It's a chance to break down barriers and expand the reach of gaming culture, introducing these characters and narratives to a wider audience.
I love that. And speaking of expanding horizons, This deep dive has really got me thinking about the potential for adaptations of some of PlayStation's lesser-known franchises. What if they decided to take a chance on a cult classic, like Parappa the Rapper or Ape Escape?
Now that's an intriguing thought. Imagine a rhythmic adventure series based on Parappa the Rapper, or a gritty crime thriller inspired by Ape Escape. The possibilities are truly endless.
It just goes to show that with a little creativity and a willingness to take risks, there's no limit to what can be achieved in the world of video game adaptations.
Absolutely. And as long as studios continue to approach these projects with respect for the source material and a passion for storytelling, I believe we're in for a very exciting future.
I couldn't agree more. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, and I'm feeling incredibly optimistic about the future of PlayStation productions.
Me too. They're setting a high bar for video game adaptations, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this epic journey through the world of PlayStation productions. Be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive on MetaCast.